Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I want to start out, first of all, by saying, as the Minority Vice Chair on the General Government Subcommittee, I really enjoyed working with our chair, the good representative from Walker. I appreciated his willingness to listen. I appreciated his candidness in his feelings on this budget. I also understand the tight constraints that he had to work within, and I do appreciate the working relationship that we developed. But with that being said, it doesn't mean that we're going to agree on things. So I want to rise today to speak on my amendment, which restores the funding cuts and the IT cuts to the various departments within the general government budget. The proposed cuts have really led me to ask, are we truly doing our jobs here? Because there's much more to our jobs than just cutting budgets. It's also about providing service to our residents. And in today's age, we must be vigilant of our state government's vulnerability to these outside cybersecurity threats that were constantly felt, not only here in Michigan, but really throughout the country. I mean, there's several stories of local units of government being affected by security threats. And it's more important than ever to provide the funding necessary for these IT departments to protect the sensitive information.
Members, can I have your attention? We have a member addressing the body. The chair recognizes Representative Sabo.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. But it's also important that we make sure that we're funding these departments correctly so that they can provide the security for our IT services that our citizens and private sector alike can benefit from. Information like credit cards, bank account information, Social Security numbers. These 25% cuts on these IT programs across the board are really hindering our capability to keep our aging systems updated. And it leaves us vulnerable for cyber attacks like those we've witnessed in these other units of government, like I mentioned earlier. And I think Michiganders deserve better. These cyber attacks have the potential to do terrible damage, including endangering the integrity of our election process. Outdated IT systems have further implications, impacting Treasury's ability to maintain and upgrade our tax systems, increasing wait times at the Secretary of State's offices, reducing the effectiveness of systems used to track law enforcement assets and incidents across the state. And as a former firefighter, I'm particularly concerned about the reduced effectiveness of our aging Michigan public safety communication systems for first responders. Those are communication tools that we need for life-saving measures. And we risk the safety of those that we were sent here to represent, all for the sake of moving money around to satisfy another need, instead of looking after the real problem, which is increasing revenue. But I cannot in good conscience ask every department to make the cuts to our vital programs to balance the IT and administrative holes in the budget. I often hear when we talk about the difference or the need to compare what we do in government to the private sector. Why can't we apply that here? Because I can assure you that in our private sectors, while they're certainly trying to reduce expenses, but reducing the security and vulnerability of, and increasing the vulnerability of their systems is not what they want to do for their business. And I think we're handcuffing our department's ability to make sure that we're working what's best for our citizens and for our businesses. And I want to read to you something in my research that I found. And I just pulled out the DTMB with their involvement in IT and some of the numbers that apply to them. And this is just for one department, DTMB. 1,434 business and customer user interface applications, 55,000 desktop, laptops, and tablet computers, 49,000 State of Michigan employees, 2,900 DTMB employees, 98,000 public safety radios. And under my login, 4.9 million user IDs for 230 State of Michigan applications as of March of this year. And we have defense against almost 90,000 endpoint protection blocks, 158 million intrusion prevention blocks, 45 billion inbound firewall blocks annually, and that's as of fiscal year 2018. This is, I mean, really, this is how what we're doing is serving the residents of Michigan by making these cuts? I don't think so, Mr. Speaker, and I encourage a yes vote on my amendment. Thank you.
Questions on the adoption of the amendment? The clerk will open the board. The amendment is not adopted.